We're finally getting some sunshine. That's exciting for a few days, and then back to the rain. So how do we catch eels in Maine? There's all kinds of stuff all over the internet, including that we get like $2,000 a pound for them, which no, we do not. In 2012, we got $2,600 a pound. 2012 was a long time ago. And then there was one other year, I think maybe 2014, something like that. There was one other year we broke 2,000. We were getting like 21, 2,200, and that was it. Other than that, we've been low thousands, and right now we're not even at thousands. We opened at $300 this year, and now we're at 800. And yeah, but you know, you look on the internet, Maine Elver fishing or whatever, oh, these glass eels, they fetch $2,000 a pound and blah, blah, blah. No, not anymore, they don't. So there's only 3 ways you can legally catch them. Well, number one, you have to have a license. But to actually physically catch them, you have to use a dip net, a Fyke net, F-Y-K-E, or a Sheldon box trap. I've never seen a Sheldon box trap. I've seen diagrams of one, but I've never actually seen or used one. I don't know if anybody even does anymore. Pretty much everybody's going to use dips or Fykes. And the way it works is you can only use one piece of fishing gear. So if you are a dipper, you can use a dip net, and that is it. If you have a Fyke net, you can use one Fyke net, that is it. Very, very few people left now can have 2 pieces of gear. Those people are the ones who've been in it since 70s, 80s, 90s, who've been in it a long, long, long time, are allowed to have 2, and they can have 2 Fykes or a dip net and a Fyke, or a Sheldon box, whatever combination they want, 2 pieces. I can't. I get 1 and I can pick my poison, and I'm stuck with that for the season. So if I decide I want to dip this year, I'm stuck dipping. I can't get 2 weeks in and go, this blows, I want to put my Fyke back in. Nope, I can't do that. I have to stay dipping until next year, and then I have to change it on the following year. That's how the state has it set. So here's what a dip net looks like. This is one I built. She's stout. It's all stainless steel. Stainless steel hoop welded onto a 1/2-inch stainless steel pipe. It's got some weight to it, but it also has pretty good balance. And the way you do this is you stand on the shore, you can't get your feet wet. You get your feet wet, you're in violation of the law. And you stand there and you swing this thing back and forth through the water. And that's what you do, trying to scoop up eels. You know what? Screw that. I have built and sold quite a lot of gear to people, including these. That's why I said I built this. And I've sold quite a few of these to folks, and I have sold a lot of Fyke nets. The net you've seen me using fishing last year, this year, I can't remember how many years old that is, probably 4 or 5 now anyway. I built that myself. It came on a big flat roll, and it looked like a big sheet of toilet paper when I started with it. Now it's a net. And I've sold a lot of nets to Canada over the years of varying sizes. And I've sold quite a few of these dip nets to people up in Canada. And no, if you watch this, I can't ship this to Canada. It's oversized. I would have to cut this thing in half and put threads in it, and then you're going to wind up breaking that in half. So, can't do that, unfortunately. But yeah, I did pretty good a few years there, making and selling nets, and I gave it up because I just got tired of the tire kickers. I tried to be really, really nice to Canadians because of the turnaround time. You know, by the time they got money down here and I got gear together and get it shipped up there, you know, it could be 5, 6 weeks or more. So I tried to be real, real nice to them, and not all of them, but some of them were just screwing me over. You know, hey, I want 20 nets, I want 30 nets, and I want this and I want that. So I'd get stuff together and I never see them. Or they'd show up and take half of what they ordered and leave me sitting on the other half. And no, not doing that. So had quite a few good people up there, though, I will say that. You know, they called me up and I want to get this, want to get that, and how soon can you have it ready? And I'd get it ready, and as soon as I sent them a text message, made a phone call, they were on their way, and they come and they grab it. So here's a cute little net that I built. The way Maine statute reads, a Fyke net can be no longer than 30 feet from your tail bag, your cod end, to your wingtip. So here, this is a net. So from the end of your tail bag, from this point all the way to the other end of your wing, no more than 30 feet. There is no height restriction. So you could be 2 feet, 4 feet, 6 feet, 7 feet, 8 feet, 10 feet, 12 feet, 15 feet, whatever you want to be for height. And some people do want really tall nets because they get into really deep waterways, and an 8-foot net is going to go, 6, 8 feet underwater. So they want to get a 12 or 14 foot tall net so that they can get more water, right? Makes sense. Well, this little gizmo is for mud puddles, and this could be turned into a fishing net. This was one I built several years ago for a mini golf course, actually. And you could set it up just like a regular net. And my mom was doing indoor mini golf during school vacations. People would come and set up mini golf courses inside. So I made an Elver fishing one, and I had some scrap material laying around at that time. So I put this together, and you'll notice there's no funnel inside, no tube. So it just comes in the trapezoid, goes right straight through the bag and out the other end. And I'd put a pipe in the end, so you'd hit your golf ball in through the net and out the cod end. People like that. So it's not very big. This is it. 2 foot tall. It's only like, I don't know, 2 foot, a little over 2 foot long on the wings. Then it hits the trapezoid. Right there, there's a trapezoid. Basically, it's a 2 foot square. Then it comes down the trapezoid, hits the tail bag. Then I used lobster hoops from lobster traps to make the rings inside the tail bag. Well, this fella up in Millbrook, Canada, and he happened to spy this. He goes, "How much do you want for that?" And I said, "Well, nothing, because it's not actually a real net." And he goes, "Well, can you make me some?" I'm like, "You're not serious." He goes, "Yeah, I'm serious. I want some nets that size." Okay, so I did. I built quite a few little nets this size. I mean, look at this thing. It's tiny. You can ball it up, stuff it in your jacket, zip your jacket up, and go with it. That's how small this thing is. And I built him a bunch, real nets. Had the excluder panel in it, had the funnel in it. It was just a mini version of a big Fyke net. He took a bunch of them. Some other people up there took a bunch of them. I said, "What are you guys doing? Fishing in freaking mud puddles?" So he sent me some photos of where they were fishing, and they were just in these little itty bitty tiny waterways where, even a 4 foot net was just too big to try and get in there and keep it legal of staying out of the center of the waterways. So these things were perfect, plus being lightweight, something for a quick set. You can carry it in like this in your hand, throw it in a bucket, go in, set the thing up in a little, 10 foot, 6 foot waterway, catch some eels. And they were actually filling those tail bags. So they made money out of them. All right, let's head into the brook and look at some big ones in action. These are called 8x30s. They're 30 feet long and they're 8 foot tall. Mine's also an 8x30. So if it's stood up, it's going to be 8 feet tall. And the Elver's sole purpose in life right now is swim upstream. So you'll notice the way the current's going and the way the nets are positioned. Your tail bag goes upstream, so your water comes down through it. And the way we set them up is you want to get these in the current. You can't just go throw them in the water and catch eels. You need to get them in the current, and not every spot is the same. You can have a net sitting right here. Every year it does consistently well. You can back that thing up 6, 8 feet, and it's not going to do nothing. Or it could do better, or it could do worse. It's just weird how eels work. And a lot of these guys who've done this for years and years and years know this and know where these good and bad spots are because of trial and error. And same thing in the brook I'm normally fishing in. You've got good spots and you've got bad spots. So how does a net work? Well, it's just basically a funnel inside of a funnel. So we've got wings, got shadowing here too, kind of hard to get around that. We got wings, and you've seen in one of my previous videos, I'm floating this, so it floats up and down. You've seen it floating up. So they'll swim up, they'll chase the mesh, they'll come into this part here, which is called the trapezoid. They keep swimming and swimming and swimming. Eventually they get up to this point. And right at that point, at that first hoop, inside the net, there is an excluder panel, 1/4 inch, to keep out the bigger stuff. And there's the tail bag. There's some in there right now. I don't know how much yet. We're going to find out in a few minutes. If you look inside that tail bag, you see there's another funnel right there. I got the light on the tube, and now just to the left, downstream, there's a funnel. So that funnels them into that little tube, and then the tube just terminates. And then they'll get stuck in that tail bag. They don't know how to swim back out that little 2-inch hole, 1.5 inch, whatever it is I made, and swim all the way back out and around. So basically just a funnel system. And they'll pop it out through that ring right there at the end of the tube, and then they get stuck in the bag. I'm going to steal pictures of Mark's net here. So he's got his standing up, which is cool. Mine's floating, as you see. But you can go through all the work of standing them up like this, nice and tall and pretty. So the eels will swim, they'll get into here, they'll work their way up the wings, and eventually they're gonna funnel down into right there. They all funnel right down into there. You can see that excluded panel, that's a 1/2 inch, which that is the maximum size. I don't know why you want that big, but some people do. So that just keeps out bigger stuff, like big fish. And then from there, they hit that funnel that I showed you in my tail bag, and then they get into the tail bag. By having a bigger excluder panel, which that's the full legal size, has to be 1/2 inch or smaller, you just get bigger crap in your tail bag that you have to screen through, sort through, deal with. I don't see the point in that, so that's why I run 1/4 inch. Crawling up out of here. That's why I have 1/4 inch in mine. And all the nets I built and sold to people over the years, same thing. They had 1/4 inch panels. Eels go through 1/4 inch, no problem at all. So why do you want stuff that's a 1/2 inch big? Nope. Yeah, that was a quick trip in and out of the brook, huh? And went from daylight to dark to daylight. Ain't that cool? So you can kind of see in the brook how they work. It's a very, very simple thing. The wings, just everything hits the wings, funnels into that trapezoid, funnels down, goes through the excluder, funnels into the other funnel, goes through a little tube, then just get stuck in a tail bag. And there they go. Then you have them. And in all the gear I own and all the gear I built and sold to people, and that excluded panel you see in Mark's net there, it's a hard panel. It's like rat wire. It's metal. And I always used hard wire like that, because if you get a muskrat that comes in, goes up your trapezoid, and you know what, he's not going to swim around and go back out, right? He's going to just chew his way out through. So if you've got a bunch of eels in your tail bag, what's going to happen if you have a soft panel? Some people love soft panels, whatever. So if you've got a nice soft panel in there, he's going to go right up through that panel, right up through that funnel, right through that tail bag, and guess what's going to happen to all your eels? Yeah, you're going to have a lot of damage to your net too. Whereas Mr. Muskrat goes up in, hits that hard panel, he's got one option. He's just going to take a left, right, up, down, something, and just go out through the side of the net. Yeah, you're going to get a big hole out through the side, but it's going to spare your tail bag. And if you got eels in there, it's going to spare your eels. So that's why I use the hard stuff. Now remember I said, you know, you can only have one piece of gear, right? And I've got a Fyke net. So that's the only way I'm allowed to catch eels. So I've got this little net right here, right? I use for screening, cleaning. And if I had a cameraman or some way to set up a camera down there fairly easily, you'd actually see me in action doing it. But that's just kind of a hassle. Well, so what happens if I drop eels in the water for some reason. And, you know, I slip on my hand, bucket dumps over, I lose a bunch of eels right by my feet. I grab this white net and I start trying to scoop them out of the water. Guess what? Now I'm a criminal because I'm dipping them. Even one eel, if I dip one eel out of the water with that little friggin' net right there that I drop in, it's a criminal offense. And if I get caught doing that, I can go to jail. And I can get my license suspended and pay big fines, all kinds of crap over something that friggin' stupid. Yep, the state has come up with a lot of great ideas for overfishing violations and penalties because, you know, everybody knows about us now. So the more of us they can flush out, the more available quota there is for the lottery, right? And how many people put into the lottery at $35 a shot, unrefundable at five chances per person? Yeah, state makes a killing on that. And then if you get drawn, then you get to pay the license fee on top of that. So the more of us they can get rid of, the more money they make. Now, I'm not saying that's exactly why they're trying to get rid of us, but, you know, 2 + 2 = 4, right? Yeah, you can't make this stuff up. So something like that, you know, you drop an eel in the water and you try and scoop him back real quick, you get caught. That is a crime, which is just as serious as hiring a prostitute. Because in this state, according to the Democrats, you can sell prostitution. You can be the prostitute and collect the money. You just can't be the person who buys it and gets to have the fun. So prostitution is half legal and half illegal. It just depends on which side of it you're on. Does that make sense? Well, it does to Democrats. So these little elvers can be kind of finicky and fussy creatures. And it's not a seasonal thing. It's like every year they all behave the same. It's in their DNA, I guess. They only swim at night, for the most part. The only time I ever saw any swim during the daylight was in 2012, which was an odd year. 2012 on March 22nd, it was 82 degrees. I was setting my net up in a t-shirt and I was sweating to death. That was just insane. And they came like gangbusters that year. They were thick as thieves. And that year I had gone and tended one morning. It was coming up on a daylight tide, just a little bit like we are now. You know, you tend after daylight. So the high water is still at dark, but by the time you can get to your net to tend it, sun's coming up. So I went and tended, got my eels out of my net, came back to town, went to the river here, saw a couple of guys, one of them I know, and, you know, I didn't figure they had tended that net yet. So I said, "Yeah, you want some help tending that?" "Oh no, we already got it." I said, "Oh, how'd you do?" "Oh, got whatever out of it." I can't even remember now, it was so long ago. Well, for some reason, I just had this gut feeling to go down and look. Well, I did. So I wandered down there and I started looking. And it's well after daylight. It's outgoing tide, well into outgoing tide, like 4 or 5 hours down from high water. These things should not have been swimming, okay? Not at all. And going right up the wings, there was only about yay much water, 6, 8 inches of water on the wings. And I'm looking and there's just eels after eels after eels going up both wings. Not just one here, one there. So I just stood there and just watched them for a little while. And I just went, holy crap. So I watched to see what they were doing, and they were going up and actually hitting the excluder panel. Well, they need to go a little bit further than that to get up through the funnel in the tube to actually trap. And I was watching and I didn't see any flushing back out, so I thought they were trapping. So I went back up to the road and said, you guys might want to hang out, because I can't tend somebody else's net with their tag on it, and vice versa. You can only tend the net with your tag on it, unless they're right there with you. You know, if I'm there at my net with my tag, another licensee or my helper can tend it. That's fine now. But I said, you guys might want to hang out. What do you mean? I said, well, this is what I just saw down there. Oh, no, you're full of crap. No, I'm not. I said, you're gonna have more eels. So I just sit here for a little bit. So we did. We sat there, shot the breeze for a while. Went back down, got another quarter pound out at $2,600 a pound. So that was the one and only time I ever saw them swim in the daylight. Other than that, they're nocturnal. Incoming tide at night, and sometimes you'll pick them up on the outgoing tide. So you've got about a 5 to 6 hour window. Usually about 3 hours on the incoming, roughly 3 hours on the outgoing in the dark. There's your time frame to catch them. That's basically how we catch these things. And yeah, the hours suck. We're out there in all kinds of weather conditions. Wind, rain, snow, shine, it don't matter. And we have to take care of our gear. Sometimes the water will get really nasty. You get grass coming downstream, it starts plugging up your net. You need to go down and start rolling rocks off, washing your net out, cleaning it up, resetting it. That all takes time. That's a lot of stuff you're not going to see on screw tube or whatever, because you know we just want to see the glory part of it, right? Like anything, the Hollywood part. We don't want to see embrace the suck. That's not entertaining. We just want to see, oh, we just go down and dump it out and there's all kinds of eels in there and we go selling and we make thousands of dollars. Well, that ain't how it always is. Supposed to have 3 days of this sunny thing in the sky, the bright thing. Supposed to have some warmer temps, pushing into the 50s. So that should get the mud warmed up. That should get the water warmed up some. I'm getting some high hopes for the next few days here. So we'll see what happens. Catch you later.